Hey everybody, my name is Luis Gutierrez and welcome to episode 15 of the Geek Press podcast. On this episode we talk about Loki, some TV shows, some movies, we even talk about some cryptic monsters. And it was pretty fun all around. It feels good to be back. And I hope you guys enjoy this episode, and whatever platform you're listening to us on, please leave us a good review. It'd mean a lot. Until then, enjoy the episode. Hello boys and ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls. I messed up on that intro, but welcome to episode 15 of the Geek Press podcast.
Wow, this is bad.
It has.
Yeah, you can tell why we haven't been here in a minute.
Off to a bad start here.
Yeah,
It has.
See how smooth Rudy and I are, and how awkward you sound.
Yeah, why don't you go shut your dirty whore mouth?
We need to start over.
Welcome to episode 15 of the podcast. My name is Luis Gutierrez, your host, joined with my co-host here, Jacob Knight, and then our special guest, honorary member. I guess I'm doing a vagina thing, Rudy.
Hello.
So
hey there.
Today we're just gonna kind of riff. We don't really have too many topics, but let's start off by talking about the biggest, hottest thing right now, that being Loki. Now, Rudy, I know you are anticipating this show. You were like, I watched it all back and forth.
I extensively looked at the first 5 minutes, which is the only thing I had time to do while watching Loki today. You know what? I hated it. I didn't like it at all. I saw it was just scenes from Avengers Endgame. They showed the exact same scenes of when they caught Loki and when Tony Stark got hit by the Hulk. Give me some good content, some new, fresh content. I didn't see any of that. So I give Loki 2 thumbs down.
Based off the first 5 minutes?
Yeah, exactly.
For the entire episode, for everyone listening, the first episode is just a clip show. That's all the first episode is. So you can skip the first episode. You don't have to watch it.
No, you need to watch it. Yeah, you need to watch it.
Show.
No, the end, like the second half of that whole episode is like building up plot.
No information.
Yes, you do.
No, Loki just sits on a couch at home in Asgard, and he's just like, oh, let me see what I've been up to, and then he just sits and eats popcorn.
Okay, we're about to get into spoilers right now, so get ready, Rudy, and get ready for audience members.
Here we go.
So 5,
I'm ready.
4, 3, 2, 1. Okay, towards the end, Loki has a whole character development, because you got to remember, this isn't the same Loki from the main timeline where he gets killed by Thanos and all that. So he doesn't have that character progression. They kind of like quickly do all that character progression, and then on top of that, towards the end too, you find out that like there's an evil version of Loki running around killing people. So that's why they need this Loki's help to stop the evil Loki.
What?
I think,
and that's very important to the plot.
Yeah, you can be as spoiler as you want. I'll try to restrain, but I think what's interesting is that whether or not you're really into the character, someone who's a big stan, or if you've just kind of seen them in the background, it's almost like a mini retrospective on what the character of Loki is and who he is and why he does what he does. So I think longtime fans of the character are going to be like, yes, reinforcing why you love him. And new fans of the character like me, who's only seen him in Ragnarok, will be like, oh, this is what the character's about. That's interesting. So I think the episode did a really good job on it. So.
Okay, Rudy, now based off the 5 minutes you saw, now, I'm curious, what were your, like, okay, we're jumping into this, but then, boom, you see Endgame right there.
Exactly. I thought it was going to be, like, him in, I don't know, on the beach. Like, where am I? What's going on? Because I saw the trailer, and it's kind of funky. I don't know, going on with he's, like, in prison from the looks of it. And then there's Owen Wilson with his broken nose. Like, what's going on there?
Until, like, halfway through.
How'd you not know that's Owen Wilson? Like that?
I haven't seen any movies. I only know him as the voice of Cars.
Really, you haven't seen any Owen? Noah calls himself like a fan of cinema, but he doesn't know any Owen Wilson. No, don't give me that shit. Because whenever you critique a movie, you're like the lighting, the this, the that, the emotion it revoked. So like,
you want to know how I'm not a fan of cinema? I like BVS. That's how much not a fan of cinema.
Speaking of BVS, okay, I'm glad you brought that up, because there was
no,
well, not about Batman v Superman, but talking about Zack Snyder. So Rudy, really quick, do you watch anime?
Okay. Not recently. No, last thing I binge watched that was anime was Evangelion.
Okay.
That's the last thing I saw.
Are you familiar with
the Dragon Ball movie?
Yeah, are you familiar with
Which
Dragon
was super
Ball Z?
awesome. Oh yeah, I saw Broly with Noah. Actually, he took me to go see. That was my first Dragon Ball experience.
I feel
I mean,
like
I saw it when I was a little kid on Toonami.
hmm I
Did
feel
I
like
say
when
it right,
Rudy, yeah, I
Broly?
feel like when Rudy talks, he's like he gets super calm, and then he was just like screaming at you. So I'm sorry, audio listeners.
Well, he gets excited.
Okay,
And I
so
liked it. You know, I felt like I was visiting my grandma again at a dialysis center because everyone's all swollen in the movie and everyone's all screaming. It's just like
ah!
when I was seeing grandma, and it brought me back memories. That's what I really
Everyone's
like.
looking for balls, just
And everyone wants some balls.
Okay,
Yes.
so like I was saying, Zack Snyder said he's interested in directing a Dragon Ball Z movie or an anime movie. And my first thought was like,
Oh.
no, fuck no, keep this guy away. Like,
Mm,
like
yeah.
Army of the Undead Army, whatever fucking Netflix movie came out, it was fun.
Army of Dead.
Yeah,
Yeah.
it was
Army
a
of
fun
Yeah.
movie, but it's like it's not one of those movies where like I'm like, yeah, So like Zack Snyder, I feel like
Hmm.
he should stay away from a lot of movies, you know? Like I don't get why people like stand Zack Snyder so much. Or they're like the Snyder cut or the I'm not bashing on you, Noah, but it's like people are like the ultimate version of BVS is so much better. I'm like that shouldn't be the case. The vanilla version should be good through and through, you know? So that's how like Zack Snyder's not that good of a director in my opinion.
Yeah, I agree. Like, you got a problem if you got to wait for the director's cut for something to be good. Like the first one should stand out on its own. It has to be. You shouldn't be depending on a director's cut. So I'm with you there. Yeah, even though I know very little about Dragon Ball Z, but the fact that I know very little, and I know I'm not gonna jump on Dragon Ball Z. I don't think Zack Snyder knows a lot about it, or any. He never talked. Does he? I don't think he ever talked about anime or his favorite animes or anything like that.
This is the
So
first
this is
I'm
gonna be
really
a
hearing about it.
project. Yeah. So
uh,
I don't know. He doesn't seem like a longtime fan.
yeah.
Should
I
he?
don't think
Does he
he's
deserve
ever
to?
mentioned it, but I think if there's one thing Zack Snyder has going for him, just totally abandoning Loki. If there's anything Zack Snyder has going for him, it's the fact that his visuals are always really engaging.
Mm-hmm.
Whether or not you think they're good is up to your opinion, but I think they're always really engaging. They're always real dynamic, and you could do some interesting shots of Dragon Ball characters. I think.
Yeah, like you do like Snake's Highway, you could do like Shenron
Yeah.
and all that. Like there's a lot of cool stuff you can do.
Yeah. Yeah.
This makes no sense. I want to if he was gonna do a movie, I'd want an Origin of Trunks movie.
I really thought you were gonna say Oron High School Host Club for some reason. Like I want him to do that. That's like a super like
very
femboy anime.
Very
Dude.
specific.
Fucks
Yeah.
it up, dude. But no, I think he would do it. That's the only place I'd want Snyder if he was doing Origin of Trunks. Where
Mhm.
androids are just killing everyone and Gohan with one arm. Like I could do that.
Yeah, that'd be fun because there's like really
But-
no. Well, obviously there's a plot in that movie, but there's not too much like talking. I guess you could say it's like all like fast paced.
It's very atmospheric.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. That's something I could get into.
All right, so
First,
some dead
sorry.
air. That's always good. But
No. speaking of things that should be dead, Loki.
yeah,
Should
okay,
be
so let's
dead.
go back
Loki.
to Loki. I will say this. So the show introduced a cool like premise, and as I was watching it with my girlfriend, I had some questions
Brag.
about it. Yeah, right.
Have a girlfriend.
And I was kind of having some questions that I feel like. So again, I'm going into spoilers again right about now. So feel free to do whatever the fuck you're gonna do. But there was a part where they're like, oh, we're like. Okay, hold on. I'm gonna backtrack. We're going back to Dragon Ball Z really quick.
Okay. All right.
So
Ah.
there's two Dragon Ball Z games. They're called Xenoverse, and
Okay.
the main storyline for Xenoverse is that you play as like your created character, whether that be like a Saiyan, an Earthling, android, whatever it may be, And
Make your OC.
Mhm.
yeah, and you work alongside with a character named Future Trunks. Obviously, his name indicates he's from the future. I'm explaining a lot of this to Rudy and people who may have not played the game too. And the whole
Makes
premise
sense.
of the campaign, or at least the vanilla story, because I never played the DLCs, was Future Trunks. This is he works for this organization called like the Time Patrol, and what they do is they're in charge of making sure the timeline is fluid, that everything happens the way it's supposed to happen. So like whether
Omega Access.
shut the
Shout
fuck
out
up,
to Colin.
shut up, Colin.
Dude.
And so
Sorry, no one gets my references. I'll be quiet.
and so in the game, like he's like, oh, it's painful to see my father get killed, but that's the way it's supposed to be, blah 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 blah, and there's like rifts in the timeline. So like, let's say Goku, for instance, is supposed to die, but all of a sudden he gets super roided up and kills everyone. No, 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 that's not supposed to happen. You need to go put Goku in check and knock him out and make sure he dies. So you're doing stuff like that throughout the whole game. So I'm gonna explain now why I brought that up. Dragon Ball Xenoverse and Loki is the exact same plot. Because in Loki,
Sounds like it.
yeah, in Loki, he's working for like the Time Police. It's called like the TVA. I forget what it stands for. And it's like, we're in charge of making sure the timeline's supposed to happen. This and I'm like, I played this in a video game, so I just thought that was kind of interesting. But yeah, that's supposed to happen. Like everything, like Loki was never supposed to get the Tesseract and like dip.
Mm-hmm.
And then they were saying that like, oh, the Avengers were supposed to travel back in time and fuck with all the timelines. That was supposed to happen. I'm like, wait, but if they fucked, and I always feel like when you do like time travel and stuff, everything gets really muddy. And it's like, wait, if they were supposed to fuck with those timelines, what's happening with all these with all the timelines they fucked with? Like, isn't that supposed to be like a giant
I was about to say that, yeah.
Yeah.
Why is Loki in trouble then? Aren't the Avengers supposed to be in trouble? Aren't they supposed to go to a time prison or something like Loki? What's going on there?
The idea they're setting up is that there are certain ways they can patch history, because they're not doing divergent timelines. They're saying there's one timeline, and within this timeline, in order for reality to continue, the Avengers need to go back in time.
And the only thing I can think of too was in Endgame, they were like, we need to go back and fix this. Even then, that creates like a ripple effect. We're going.
It creates some muddy stuff, right?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
So there, go for it. I keep interrupting you.
I think the thing is that they have agency in the idea of reorganizing, patching, wiping minds, stuff like that. They're kind of like Men in Black for the timeline. But Loki himself, who is kind of this rogue entity, would fuck things up. There's a spoiler. I'm gonna try to say without spoilers. Something very rare in the MCU is just plentiful in this thing. In this show, they find out, how do you have all these things? They're like, oh yeah, everyone has them. It's not a big deal. So important objects.
At this point, you gotta say the spoiler, no, because you're teasing me here. You're teasing me.
I'm all about blue balling our audience. The point is,
oh,
they could find items or events and fix things up, but things such as Loki need to be put back in their place. So I think that's the difference between, since the Avengers were supposed to do that and Loki wasn't. So that's kind of the conflict.
And
they're okay with the Avengers.
They talk about like it's in a passing line. They talk about like the multiverse and all of that. And so like, and Doctor Strange and the Multiverse of Madness, so that's supposed to be a whole thing. So I'm like, oh, maybe this is gonna tie in more. And I had a theory that it's gonna fuck, like somehow, some way, this is gonna fuck with the timelines, multiverse, blah 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 blah. And earlier, before we started this podcast, I saw this thing on GameSpot's Twitter account. They posted this right here, and they got their stories from Empire magazine, not the TV show Empire.
Nice.
It says Loki will.
But you see Smolier?
It says Loki will have more of an impact on the MCU than any other Marvel show thus far. And for you guys, here's right here. So that's pretty interesting to think that like this show is gonna have like giant ramifications, which I could see that happening.
I also did.
But then they said that about Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. and that never happened.
I only watched.
I'm still waiting on the crossover. I'm still waiting.
So hurt on that.
Nothing's going on.
I never.
No, Ghost Rider, yeah.
So you want to know?
Ever came out of it.
You want to know like a fun?
Can I finish my statement from earlier?
Yes, you can finish your statement from earlier.
I did some research and I found two interesting things.
Mm-hmm.
The lady at the front desk, who was kind of being sort of a judge, jury, executioner, specifically used the word madness within the destruction of the multiverse. So she specifically said mad. So that could be our kind of link to the Doctor Strange movie. And Nexus itself was in WandaVision as a commercial. So if you remember in WandaVision, they did commercials that were references to other things. Nexus was a commercial reference in the show. And I wrote down the quote here. It says, works to anchor you back to your reality or the reality of your choice. So I think that's a fun thing. I don't know if that ties it in, but it's just a fun little...
Yeah, it could be like a little nod and a wink.
Interesting.
Okay, I'm sorry. What were you going to say before I interrupt?
Oh, so I was gonna talk about Agents of Shield really quick to answer Rudy's question. So, I don't know why Ghost Rider didn't have any more of like continuity in the main MCU because they even like tease fuck what's the
Yeah,
original Ghost Rider's name? They got the
Johnny
motorcycle.
Blaze.
Yeah, they even tease Johnny Blade. Like you see a dude roll
Nicolas
up on a
Cage.
motorcycle. Yeah, Nicolas Cage rolls up and he's like, "Listen, we're gonna steal the Declaration of Independence." No, that doesn't happen. But like you see like this silhouette and like this outlining of a biker help out this dude and all that. And so like it was very clear if you're a Ghost Rider fan, if you know anything about Ghost Rider, that's that's not the original, but it's the most popular one. And I don't know why they never did anything with that, but during Endgame and Infinity War, they had this big whole like story arc about Thanos invading Earth, but the way they explained it was there was like everything was going down in Wakanda, but Thanos had other like lieutenants and other like generals and all that fighting other sides of the world. So
I didn't know that.
the Agents of Shield were out there fighting that side right there, and here's where it gets funny. So within Agents of Shield, that was part of the ABC show. It wasn't part of it's part of Disney and all that, but different branches within Disney. And so what had happened was when they were writing Infinity War, no one other than the writers and the people like on the team, the Infinity War team, really knew the ending. The Infinity War team refused to tell the Agents of Shield their ending, so that way they refused to tell anyone to avoid spoilers.
Yeah.
But at the end of Agents of Shield, that whole story arc, because I was watching it and I was super excited to see how they like tie it all in, but it never like has a good tie-in. At the end of Agents of Shield, they're like holding hands and they're like they're watching the sunset off the beach. And then the reasoning for that was because the writers of Agents of Shield didn't know how Infinity War was gonna end. So they just assumed it was going to be a happy-go ending, and they didn't know that the snap was going to happen. So that's a pretty fun tidbit right there for you guys.
Yeah, that's fun to think about, that they're all happy on the beach, and then suddenly they just start fading away.
That's what, honestly, that's what I thought. I was like, oh, they're going to get killed, but nope, no, it never happens like that.
No, they just, wow.
All right,
so respect.
Yeah. Rudy, now,
yeah,
what media have you been consuming?
I have been consuming.
Also, hold on, wait, really quick, hold on.
I'm gonna be real with you guys. I haven't been consuming much. Okay.
Have you guys been? Wait, are we done on Loki now? Are we done on talking about it?
I stand with my opinion. 2 thumbs down. I may change it after I watch it.
I think I'm gonna watch this just to keep up with kind of the cultural zeitgeist. I'm not really that attached to the character because I've only seen Ragnarok. I haven't seen the first 2 Thors, but
But you saw Avengers.
I did see I didn't see Avengers till 2018 though.
What does that have to do with anything though?
Because I didn't have this fan culture built up of that movie over. You know what I mean?
That was 3 years ago.
Noah's such a hipster.
You can stop bringing that up,
Noah.
Noah.
Noah's such a hipster. I only saw Avengers when Infinity War was coming out.
You know what?
In 2018, man.
Until then, because all my friends went to go see it and they invited me, and I was like, it's never gonna be as good as the X-Men. So I didn't watch it. I didn't watch MCU movies. So when everyone watched it and everyone loved it, everyone was like, oh, you saw it, right? You saw it. And I didn't want to be embarrassed. So I was like, oh yeah, I saw it. It was pretty good. But I never saw it until my dad was like, we're gonna watch it. And I was like, oh, okay.
So how did that feel? Like you were just like, it's not gonna be better than the X-Men. Like you were proven wrong on that. Like
I was proven wrong. Because at the time you're very much like, oh, this is the best we're gonna get.
Yeah.
But then MCU really showed you that you can have color, you can have expansiveness, you can have chaos, and like a really well delivered package. So I was proven wrong, which is great. I love that. But yeah, should you and I give our final thoughts on the show before we move on to the
final thoughts. I feel like the first episode was kind of weak, but I get the it was weak until the end. Until you see Loki kind of like, they skip like 4 movies of fucking character progression in like 5 minutes, which was kind of funny.
Oh.
But I see the potential of the show, and I'm always a fan. I've always been a fan of like, there's outside source watching you, making sure like, Big Brother kind of thing. I've always been a fan of that, and I like how it's like, Loki is fucking jumping in between timelines and. Is he a good guy? Is he not going to be a good guy? Why is there's an evil Loki now? Like I want to, like I'm interested in seeing Loki fucking. There's screenshots where it's like they're referencing a comic where he runs for president. There's like stuff where like he's in Mongolia. He's like, I'm cool. I want to see Loki jump all over the place. It looks like it's gonna be fun. But one thing I will say, also too, I feel like the show doesn't have enough hype like WandaVision, Mandalorian, or Falcon and the Winter Soldier did. I don't feel like I'm seeing much like talk on Twitter or anything about it for the most part. Would you guys agree with me on that?
I will agree. From things I'm hearing, though, it's mostly kind of negative. But it's so early. It's really episode one,
Yeah, barely
so I
episode
think people
one.
are just quick to judge it as well. People, it could get better. I've been seeing a lot on social media, like, oh, this thing sucks. Where's Asgard and stuff like that. But just give it a chance, people.
Mm-hmm.
I just think it's funny that I'm looking at the trending page just to reference, and Loki doesn't pop up. Like Time doesn't pop up. You know what does pop up? Owen Wilson. Owen Wilson is trending. So good for him.
Yeah, you know what? Doesn't he have a mustache or something?
Yeah, he has
That's
a
kinda
he has
hot,
like a he has like a
Could take
70s
that.
cop mustache kind of.
Mhm.
Nice.
But
I think
so what would you
for
say?
for my sort of overview of the show, these Marvel shows are kind of like baby's introduction to themes. I feel like not to insult people that really enjoy the shows, but I feel like it's kind of it's very ham-fisted, i.e. WandaVision was kind of showing you grief, and Falcon and Winter Soldier was kind of showing you revolution, whether it be societal or personal. So I feel like Loki is maybe kind of gonna play with the idea of freedom. There was lots of ideas thrown around. I think even in the trailer and in the show, there's a line that's something along the lines of, "Oh, Loki, you're only here to make other people look great," something like that. So I think, and the Loki was very much like, "I make my own way," and the Bureau is just like, "Oh, bitch, no, you do everything you're supposed to do. You have no freedom." So I think the idea of freedom of choice, freedom of existence is something that might get played with a little bit in the show. So
Yeah.
I think for that, it would be a great vehicle for those ideas.
I think you and I, maybe not so much as Rudy because he hasn't finished it yet, but the show has a lot of potential
Well,
in regards to work and go, right? Like you can see a lot of fun
Mhm.
stuff happening.
I don't know if they'll do it though, because Marvel can be weird.
Yeah, but I feel like these shows have like really kind of set the tone. They're like, all right, we're willing to fuck around a bit. We're willing to kind of, because like who would have thought we would see all this like freaky shit in WandaVision? We would have gotten super racial and like brutal in Falcon and the Winter Soldier. Like all things considered, those I would almost consider both of those like adult TV shows and not like children's shows. Would you guys agree with me on that?
I haven't seen I haven't seen either of those series, So yeah, sure. You know what? You're right about that.
Thank you.
It seems very.
Ditto what Rudy said.
All I remember is Zemo dancing on a floor. I remember that was a big thing.
Mm-hmm.
I want to see more of that.
All right, now we're gonna go back to what we said about a couple minutes ago. Rudy, you haven't been consuming anything, so you've just been.
All right. So okay, so I haven't. It sounds like I haven't been consuming much, but here's what I have been consuming recently: are scary movies. So I saw Conjuring 3.
Was it good?
And then it made me want to go back and watch Annabelle. Actually, Conjuring 3 was pretty good. I actually liked it. It sounded more. It was maybe more of a love story than a scary story because it's kind of talks about how that couple how they met and shows the power of love triumphing over the devil worshippers and the cult and all that. And then so I gave it 2 thumbs up. Definitely watch it. It has its traditional
gives
cheap
you
scares.
2 thumbs up. Okay.
Where yeah, there we go. 2 thumbs up. Better than Loki.
We've come
1000%,
full circle.
Oh. But it has its cheap scares. Like they're looking, it's panning left and then right, and it goes right again. Oh, there's that ugly looking face or demon right there. So that's nothing new there. That's always been there with scary movies. But it's a good story. And then I saw Annabelle as well. And then I saw La Llorona recently as well. With
Is that
my
one
family.
tied into like the
God,
Conjuring universe?
Yeah, it's all in a universe, and they all nod off each other. So like even in La Llorona, the one of the priests, because the protagonist is like, "Oh, Senor, I don't know what I'm gonna do with my children." I was like, "Oh yes, this reminds me of a doll that I came across," and it does a little flashback of him with Annabelle. And so I was like, it has its own cinematic universe, you could say, with horror.
What I'm gonna say.
So
Really quick?
I guess that's pretty cool.
It's the
What's
cinematic
up?
universe we deserved, but we were so close
Which
to
one?
getting it. Was the
Can
dark?
Can we say it all together?
Oh, okay. Yeah. So we all do our own.
All right,
okay.
ready? 1,
Okay.
2, 3.
1.
The
Legend
dark
of
cinematic
Thousand
universe.
Cities.
Transformers.
Okay, we're all clear on different wavelengths.
I was saying okay.
You're
so
saying the Dark Universe?
Yeah,
with
we'll go
with
one
the
at a
movie
time.
Monsters?
Yeah, where it was like it was
Okay.
Tom Cruise as like a Van Helsing in the Mummy, and they were gonna introduce all those other ones. I never saw that movie, but it looked bad. It looked real bad.
I fell asleep. I tried watching it. I fell asleep. I didn't get through the first 30 minutes, but it had Tom Cruise, and the guy from what's his name? The guy from Gladiator,
Russell Crowe?
Jekyll and Hyde. Russell Crowe. There we go. Are you not entertained? Yeah. It could have been good. Who knows? The Invisible. Oh, but they made the Visible Man, right? But it has nothing to do with that universe. But that was a good twist.
But that wasn't
to-
tied
to,
in.
uh,
I never saw the Invisible
to-
Man. I heard it was really good. I heard it was like really, really good.
Oh, it's good. It's good.
Yeah,
Okay.
we
Definitely
tied
watch
in
it.
Together. Invisible Man is one of those, I believe.
It's a Bloomhouse.
Yeah,
It's Blumhouse.
Invisible Man. The IP's public, so I think you don't.
We could make an Invisible Man.
We could.
Because
Starring Colin Bath.
Nah, we do better.
who make a good Invisible Man?
Or anything, or have you
We'll
played
get we'll get Duncan, our D&D character, not the person who plays him, not Marcus, Duncan.
Duncan. Okay, yeah. I'll see someone sexy, someone that has a sex appeal, but you can never see him. There we
You
go.
can
that
see like the
totally work.
outline, like the silhouette
that.
of the
Yeah,
person,
this
you know?
sounds like a pervert.
Oh damn.
This is like a
Yes.
pervy movie.
Listen, we're
Yeah,
making
I don't know.
a
It's
tasteful
borderline.
movie.
All right, you.
Oh,
have
yeah.
fun with your
And-
artful
And
taste.
Okay, so Rudy, so you
Yeah,
haven't.
French
So
film.
other than scary movies, what else have you been consuming?
Scary movies. That's the most geeky thing I've been doing. Everything else is kind of boring, bland stuff, like reading about Southern California, Los Angeles, and the Yucca Man and stuff like that. I don't think you guys.
Yeah. So how was your Yucca Man hunt?
Oh my God! Okay, here we go. So now
Tell-
that's something to geek over.
tell
So
people what the
do you
Yucca
guys
Man
know?
is.
Do you guys know the Yucca Man?
I
You guys ever heard of the Yucca Man?
no, I have not heard of the Yucca Man. Please inform me.
The Yucca Man is
no,
just a
the
desert
Yucca
version of
Man.
Bigfoot.
The Yucca Man goes by many names. It's the devil of Highway 37. Blue Eyes, Old Blue Eyes. If you would believe it, that's actually literally one of the names, Old Blue Eyes.
Mhm.
Not to be confused with Frank Sinatra. That was the nickname that they were coined over in Alice Air Force Base. Is when the Army soldiers, when they're out on patrol at 3 o'clock in the morning, and they see the weirdest stuff out there in the desert. And one of them was this thing with blue eyes, and then and then one iteration, there's even a possibility that it could fly, the Yucca Man. So this is back in the 1800s, where over in I think called the Devil's Gulch. There was this old guy that bought some land over there, and he was freaking out because he saw something flying, and then it even involved the Archdiocese of Los Angeles. It was incredibly insane. There was a literally a hunting party tried to track down this devil, and pretty much what happened was they shot it and it flew over to Arizona where other eyewitnesses saw it over there. But anyway, all in all, the Yucca Man is part Yucca, part man, 100% real. And there's photographic evidence of the Yucca Man like walking in the Mojave Desert. Look it up if you don't believe me. Type in Yucca Man and you could see all the different types of photographic evidence
Rudy,
that's out there.
I got a proposition for you. Okay.
Okay,
So
there you go.
you're into like monsters, right? And like urban legends. And
Oh yeah,
stuff.
I'm totally into cryptids and all that.
Okay,
Yeah,
okay,
yeah.
perfect. Because I'm really into two. Because like it's been proven that like Bigfoot, like the dude who spotted Bigfoot, was lying. So that kind of broke my heart a little bit. But here's one I want to believe. Okay, so let's say
Which
you and you're invited too, Noah. Okay, they're in the winter.
I guess you could come too. Yeah, sure.
So
We could hold our gear.
I know that you two are better friends than I, so I don't want to get in the way of the friendship. I don't want to turn this couple into a threesome.
Listen, three's a company, okay? So listen, we'll go during the winter because it's nice and cold, so we bring some like fluffy jackets and all that, and we go to West Virginia and we look for the Mothman. We go Mothman
Oh, the
hunting.
Mothman.
That's my favorite. Mothman is my favorite.
Have you seen his ass? Have you seen the Mothman's
No,
ass?
I
Have
have
you
not
look
seen
up
the
the
Moth.
sculpture that they have over in West Virginia? But you've seen the sculpture, right? It's like all silver, has like
Yeah.
the red eyes. You know what I'm talking about. They have a sculpture of him. No one has ever looked at what it looks like from behind. And if you Google it, it's gonna have the most shapely ass you've ever seen in a sculpture. Look it up.
Is
I'm telling you, it's no
Mothman
joke.
thicked up?
I'm totally down to go to West Virginia.
Alright.
Yeah. He must be a cyclist part time.
Alright,
You know,
it's
because
a-
he has a
I'm
nice
looking
ass.
at a picture right now, and he has some cake. No,
Yeah,
it's
it's
not
real
a
nice.
3-layer.
Some nice
He has
beef
some
going
cake.
on.
I'm gonna use that as a clip right
Yeah,
there.
some
Where you're
nice
just talking
cake.
about Mothman's ass.
on this entertainment podcast. We're talking about Mothman.
So let's cover our
Entertain.
bases really quick. So we haven't done a podcast. I haven't done a podcast in maybe like 2-3 months, but you guys haven't done a podcast in like a little bit more than a month. So we talked about Loki. We
Yeah.
talked about the Conjuring universe. And then we talked about movies, and then we
Yucca
talked
Man.
about
Well,
Yucca Man, and then Mothman. How the fuck did we get there?
Mothman.
Well, Lewis,
Huh.
what are some things that you've been consuming lately? Some video
Yeah,
games, movies, TVs,
One.
comics, books.
Some things I've been consuming. Okay, so I'm glad you brought this up. So there's 2 video games I've been playing on stream. One of them
Nice.
I just started.
What's the app?
It's twitch.tv / I'm Joshua Joestar. Go ahead and tune into my stream.
That's too long. I'm not.
He's not doing it.
And so one of the games I
It's too
started
long.
playing, and I told myself I was gonna wait because I ordered like the collector's edition, and I ordered they released them in batches. So it was the first batch and the second batch. So I got the second batch, and the second batch is coming out. It's getting shipped sometime next month, and it comes with like this wearable helmet, an art book, a hardcover, like a whole bunch of geeky shit for the game. It's Mass Effect. It comes with the Mass Effect trilogy 1, 2, and 3, and all the downloadable
Oh,
content.
nice.
So I started playing it just a little bit, just because I've been looking at it. I'm like, oof. And then, let me tell you, I love the game. I have nothing but great things to say about it. But when I went back and played the first one, I was like, yep, this game's a product of like the early 2000s, the mid 2000s. I was like, huh. That was pretty funny though. But the other one I've been playing, if you guys know, I'm a big fan of the Yakuza games, only playing Yakuza Like a Dragon, because I feel like at the core, those games are very sentimental and very sweet. They recently made a spin-off game within the Yakuza universe that takes place in Japan and all that's going on. It's called Judgment, and you play as like this ex-lawyer who's a detective who does work for the Yakuza,
That's
and he
pretty
has
cool.
to like beat the shit out of people, and like he's like finding out if this dude committed a murder, and it's like a murder mystery. It's a completely different vibe than the other Yakuza games, but it's super fun, and I'm loving it so far. But
Hey,
in regards
sounds pretty
to
awesome.
yeah, it's a fun game. And shows I've been watching, my girlfriend and I've sat her down, and we're nearly done now. She always wanted to watch It's Always Sunny for like the earlier seasons, because she only started watching
Oh, no way.
yeah, she only started watching the last 2 seasons because that's when we started dating, or that's when she like really like expressed interest in watching it. So she watched the last 2 seasons, and we're right there. We're like at the final the last season that just aired. But we went back and like we watched all of like season 1 through 14, and I was like it's super fun. And
Wasn't the first episode just about abortion, if I remember
no,
right?
the first episode they make fun of gay men and black men. That yeah.
Oh,
And
yeah. I remember.
and I've been watching My Hero Academia, and I just like, it's gonna sound very like weeb of me, and like, but what I love like the most about like anime is that like, for the most part, because there's different genres of anime, but like most shonen animes at like the core of the show, it's about like you can always improve yourself and you could always be better than like who you were yesterday is not who you are today. And like I was watching My Hero Academia, and there was one episode. I watched the dub, so like that's the English one for people who are unaware. And there was this episode with a character named Bakugo, and then like he's like, "Don't worry," and like he has this huge fucking character development, and I was like, "Damn, that really like resonated with me," and I was like, "Damn, this is why I like watching anime." So yeah, that's what I've been kind of doing as of lately, and I've been reading some books and mangas, but like lightly, not enough to like really say I'm reading.
Yeah.
What about you?
Nothing too crazy.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, I sometimes produce comic book episodes on the Geek Press channel. Number one comic right now for me is Nightwing. You don't have to
Nice.
know dick about Richard's story at
Ah.
all. You can just jump right in if you're new. It's like it's really touching. It's really fun. I've been watching a lot of the Bad Batch from Star Wars:
I've
The
been watching
Clone
that too.
Wars.
I forgot about that. Yeah.
I've been starting to catch up back with the CW shows,
Mm-hmm.
which I recognize are kind of terrible, but I love their cheesiness, so I hang on because I think I still have fun watching them even if they're silly. So I've been catching up my CW shows, and I haven't really been playing any video games as of late, and I haven't really seen any movies. Uh, the first movie I hope to see in theaters is Dune for whenever that comes out because I love Dune so much.
Mm-hmm.
It's such a good book series. I'm a big fan, so I'm hoping for that. But
Do you think Dune's gonna live up to the hype? Because I read the last book movie that I
Uh,
watched was Ready Player
Ready
One,
Player One,
and I liked it. I hate to be those people because I always talk shit about them, but the book is genuinely better than the movie. But
the
it's
book's
like,
always better. Yeah.
but like, yeah. So do you think it's gonna live up to like the expectation? Because I've never read Dune. I didn't really know too much about Dune until the movie was announced way back when. And then you started telling me like Dune this, Dune that, and then the artist formerly known as Ramon used to talk about Dune all the time with me.
yeah, our old accomplice. Yeah, I really enjoy the book. I think no matter what you do,
What you
when
Dune?
you are no matter what you're doing, when you translate pieces of works to different medias, i.e., from books to film, there's always going to be a interpretation or loss in translation. Such as I think I didn't watch Ready Player One, but from what I've heard, references were changed because the book was written in like the '90s, right?
I
So
don't know.
when did the
Maybe
book?
I
So
don't know when the book was written, but
like I don't think it included the Iron Giant, right?
no, yeah, the Iron Giant's in the book. I mean, in
What?
the movie, in the movie,
Oh,
but
that makes me
he's not
dislike
a
it even more.
he's not a big deal. Like, cause like there's like big plot points
Mhm.
to where like I forget their names, but it was like two Asian players. They were like
Mhm.
they were part of like the Big Five, I think they were called. One of them like gets
Yeah.
murdered by the corporation in the book.
Oh
Yeah, and
shit.
then when fuck what's his name when his best friend is revealed to be a girl, that's a much more bigger surprise than it is in the
Mhm.
movie. He in the book he also talks about like how he gets like this full on like virtual suit and like shaves his body,
Mhm.
tints the windows because he's afraid he's gonna get like killed in his apartment, and how like he's never like slept with a girl. It gets really like into the character, you know.
But see, that's a difference in translation between the source material and the
Mm-hmm.
movies. And just from what I've seen from pictures and the casting choices, I think this is going to be really good. I'm really happy
Mm-hmm.
with what we have so far. I think it's interesting that originally in the book it has a bit more Middle Eastern influence, and I'm wondering if that's going to also be in here since this is made by Americans. So I
Mm-hmm.
want to see how they deal with that. But yeah, I'm confident that I'll probably like it.
Yeah, hopefully you do, because I know you're like a super big like Dune fan, and you're even like
Yeah.
in a book club and all that, right? Like with
Oh
you
yeah,
and
I
your
was in a
buddies.
book club. Yeah.
Okay, Rudy, really quick. So while Noah was talking
Yeah.
too, wait, do you have any other? I don't want to cut you off. I'm sorry. Do you have anything else that you've been consuming or looking forward to?
If this comes out the week,
I'm gonna try to have this
uh,
out tomorrow. I'm gonna try to have this out tomorrow.
okay, everyone go to your comic store and pick up Static #1. That's coming out next Tuesday.
All right.
6/13, folks. 6/15. 15th of June, pick up Static.
Wow, we got it all wrong.
You're right. I'm going back to comic hell.
So Noah posted a picture of a new character coming to Batwoman named Batwing. And I was kind of like telling Noah, Rudy, that like I was like, oh, the costume actually looks really good, but it's a shame it's on the CW because it's gonna ultimately be garbage. I sent
Attacked.
I sent you a picture,
Makes
Rudy.
sense, yeah.
I
All
sent
their
you
shows are terrible.
I sent you a picture.
Oh,
Now look at the helmet, okay? Because the
okay.
helmet reminds me a blend of the Arkham Knight from the Batman video games and Optimus Prime.
You know what?
It looks like it's Optimus Prime and the Arkham Knight had a baby.
Oh my god,
Yeah.
that is Optimus Prime. That
Yeah,
is
and
not no bat. That's Black Optimus Prime right there.
Well,
Come on,
Optimus
you can totally
Prime-
see the mouthpiece. It has the exact same eyes and the antenna. That's Optimus Prime. How? Uh, uh, you know what? Now, kind of, does he sound like Optimus Prime? Because that'll be pretty cool. Now, I'll definitely watch a show. That's a deal. That's a deal break for me, Noah.
I think.
Yes or no? You got to answer now.
No, because he's not a robot.
Oh, then I'll forget about no.
But I think there's
Forget it.
Sometimes CW superhero shows, their costumes are just a leather jacket you could pick up at like Hot Topic. So I really appreciate the effort they put in, because there are parts of the suit that look robotic. It's just that the helmet is so clunky that it looks like comical in a sense. And
It
also,
stands
his
out.
weapons
Yeah,
rocket.
it has
So
a.
I hope he has rocket, because he has like these glider wings like Batman Beyond, and he can fly.
Oh,
So
cool.
I hope they show that off. That's really exciting. And I think that it's interesting they went with the helmet, because in the comics, he sometimes has the helmet and sometimes he just has like goggles with bat ears. So like you see his head and his mouth. So I think it's interesting that they chose the helmet.
It looks comically large.
Yeah,
He has like a really big head.
It has like it
That's
kind
the
of has Rudy's
problem.
costume
But-
energy. If that makes sense.
Well, I like the nod. I like the Optimus Prime nod. So this is a villain?
No, it's a good guy.
Autobot? Okay, cool. All right, I could take that.
Also, he has no lips. What are you talking about? He doesn't. He kind of looks like Optimus Prime.
He looks like Optimus Prime.
It totally looks like Optimus Prime.
For-
There's the mouthpiece, the
for
antenna,
everyone,
that has the eyes.
Yeah, for
The
everyone
eyes.
watching and or listening, because I'm not gonna really do any edits at all in this. You should go
Right.
on the
Oh, my.
you should go on the Instagram at CW Batwoman and look at the post they did of Batwing. You'll know when you see it, because this dude's looking like a total badass and all that. But then once you get to the second picture, you'll see exactly what we're talking about with it's Optimus Prime.
I can't unsee it. I cannot unsee it.
I respect it.
All right, so we're getting closer to
I
the
like
end
it.
now.
I can take it.
Is there any anything you guys are like looking forward to, like regards to summer? Because like, you know, usually when we get around summertime, we get like a whole bunch of announcements, movies, video games, books, whatever. Or it doesn't even have to be any of that. Anything you're just looking forward towards in the summer? I'll let you go first, Rudy, and then we'll go to Noah, and then we'll end with me.
Yeah. I was just looking forward to going out more.
Mhm.
Movie theaters is on my list. I've been itching. I've been having that itch to like buy.
Have you been using
PlayStation
ointment?
on the Xbox and playing
Have you
video
using
games because I
ointment,
haven't
doctor?
played. I got to get a prescription and all that. But
Rudy, I've been telling you,
yeah, I've
buy
been
an
wanting to play
Xbox, and
Resident
I'll
Evil
play
8.
with you.
But that's the thing, though. I'm looking more towards PlayStation because Miles Morales, and I've
Yeah.
never owned a PlayStation.
Yeah, PlayStation.
But then at the same time, Halo's coming out. The new Halo's coming out, so like I'm torn. I'm really torn
Listen,
between the two.
I'm-
I had to buy both.
Yeah,
you
I'm
know?
not.
That's
Okay,
the
like
only
if you
solution.
want to do this, here's what you do. Here's the most cost-effective way.
Okay.
You could buy the if you manage to get your hands on, buy the digital PS5, which is $100 less than
Okay.
the PS5 that you could put a disc in. And then if you still want to cut some corners, you get the Xbox Series S, which is like $200 cheaper than the Series X. It comes with less memory because it's cheaper, and it doesn't go 4K, and it doesn't have a disc drive, but it's still cheaper. So if you want to get both, that's the cheapest way you could do it.
Yeah, I always thought that was an
Yeah.
interesting choice they did by having models that don't have the disc drive, since so
Mhm.
many people are kind of moving towards just digitally downloading. But
Mhm.
I just feel weird not having a disc. And
No,
I don't trust
Like
the
the
internet to save my data.
the
So,
last
yeah, I'm
the
buying
last
that
two
disc.
games. The last two games that I have, Mass Effect and Judgment, are both disc games too, and Resident Evil. Yeah, those are all three disc games that I have. Okay, sorry. So you've been itching to buy a console, so you're debating.
Console, go to movie theater,
Mm-hmm.
and just go out more with friends, family. That's it. It's Hot Girl Summer. I'm ready.
That is true.
What about you guys?
Okay, passing it to you.
It is hot girl summer. Good thing we are all hot girls.
Mhm.
Yeah.
I really want to go to the beach. I am very much a homebody.
Same. I've
so I
been kind of
think-
doing that.
I don't know about that. You're always wanting to go out.
That is true. I do like going out.
It is true. But it's okay. You can be both. We live in America. You can be whatever you want.
America.
You can. Point is, there's some good comics coming out. I'm really excited for the summer, just because I enjoy the flow of time and it moving forward.
Just like in
So
Loki.
just like in Loki. You saw what I was about to say. You saw it and you took advantage and you stole it from me. Thank you.
Much
Too
like
slow,
Kevin
huh?
Spacey.
Jesus.
We were talking about Kevin
yeah.
Spacey before we recorded.
talking
Yeah.
about-
They say, yeah, we gotta. Our audience needs to know why we got Kevin Spacey so randomly.
I'm currently writing a book as we record this. I have a project.
Nice.
We're talking about doing a project, Lewis and I together.
Not Rudy.
That's not Rudy. Sorry, Rudy.
All right, I don't know. I'll make my own project out, you guys.
Well, we could be talking about like a birdhouse. You don't really know what the project is.
Mhm.
We could be like, so you don't know.
I'm still jealous.
All right. What are you looking forward to, Lewis?
So I've been kind of like out of my element as of like I've been getting back in my groove lately. That's why like I kind of call it this emergency podcast. I'm trying to get back into the motion of everything, you know. But usually I'm on top of this. Like when E3 is coming around. E3 is this week, so like that's like the
Oh,
big,
no way.
yeah. This is like the biggest event
Already?
for me in the summer. Yeah. So tomorrow there's a Summer Games Fest, which is separate from E3. So they're gonna announce a whole bunch of games. I'm gonna do a live stream watching that. And I'm really looking forward to that and E3 this whole weekend. So that's something I'm really, really looking forward towards because supposedly Xbox is going to come out with some heavy hitters, or they might. It's been debated. I've been staying away from rumors, so because I want to like be surprised whatever Xbox announces because I own an Xbox. But I'm just kind of looking forward towards like normalcy again. Like I think like the three of us here, we're all fully vaxxed, I believe, right? So like there's
And waxed.
Yeah, and waxed. But there's been a few times we've gone out to like a local bars, just kind of hung out again, and it feels nice to kind of do stuff like that, just to like, and I went to the beach a week ago, and I've been going out and doing stuff. You're welcome, and just stuff like that. I'm just looking forward towards more video games, more movies, going out and just living life. That's what I'm looking forward towards.
Oh, and I learned what based and poggers means. That's pretty cool.
Isn't that more or less the same thing? This is how you know we're getting old. No.
No, poggers.
Right here.
Poggers is more of like a Minecraft exclamation of success, and based is a rapper developed term for just feeling yourself like vibing the best you. I feel like there is a
now. What's a poggy woggy? I've heard poggy woggy.
Now, what's a based poggy
some British
woggy?
crap? I don't know.
Yeah.
Some British shit. I don't know.
But yeah. So really quick, if you guys can follow us on our social medias, our Instagram is at Da Geek Press. It's DAGEEKPRESS. Same thing with our Twitter. I believe it's Da Geek Press, right, Noah?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, it's Da Geek Press, and our TikTok is The Geek Press. It's THE Geek Press, and then of course our YouTube. And if you're listening to us on Spotify, give us a follow. I don't remember what their thing is. If you're listening to us on Apple Podcasts, leave us a good review and follow us as well. All that other good stuff. I want to thank y'all. I wanted to talk about D&D. That was the whole reason too why we brought Rudy on, but then we started talking about the Yucca Man and Mothman and a whole bunch of other shit. So.
Well, also, if you made it this far in the podcast, thank you so much. I have no idea why.
Yeah, thank you.
I'm probably going to be listening to this while I'm walking my dog, but if anybody else listens to this, thank God.
Yeah, if you've made it this far too, feel free to, to tweet at us and or leave a message, like DM us or comment on Instagram. Be like, hey, I liked it when Rudy talked about this. I liked it when Luis or Noah talked about this, and we'll give you a shout out. We'll be like, at so-and-so said blah, 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 blah. So, and any feedback is good feedback, and you'll be mentioned on the show.
And speaking of social media, Rudy, is there anything you'd like to plug? Any handles or anything?
Yeah. Follow The Geek Press on Twitter at The Geek Press, and then check us out on Face. Do we have a Facebook?
No, we don't have a Facebook.
No. Should we have a Facebook?
Nah, we're not old. We're old, but we're not that old.
We should try. No. You could follow us on Tumblr. We have a Tumblr, I think. No.
No.
Okay. You know what? Just follow us. You follow The Geek Press. Follow the Geek Press.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, you can follow me at Jacob Knight on Twitter and social media. That's my handle. Noah, where's your
Uh,
shout out?
on Instagram, you can follow me at Rudy is all right. Same for also Twitter. You can follow me
That's a
on
good username.
Noah Garcia _photography. You can also follow me on Twitter if you want to at me about the Teen Titans. Jacob Knight _JK, and that's about it.
Yeah. If you guys haven't, check out my Rust review I did. I know the game's been out for a little bit on console, but I was super proud of that video. Super proud of that whole review I did. It was an official
Check it out.
review.
It's good.
Official review I did by, that was cool. Like, the company was like, yo, you want to play our game? And I was like, fuck yeah, I want to play your game. Make sure to follow my Twitch because I'm going to be, doing a live watch of the Summer Games Fest and E3. So why watch E3 if you can watch me watching E3? So yeah, that'll be fun.
You can get that good commentary.
Mhm.
Like, wow.
There we go.
Oh, wow.
Oh,
What?
That's crazy.
Oh shit!
Yeah, I like that.
Damn, I didn't see that coming.
Any last remarks that you guys want to end it on? Nope.
Good, nothing on my
Yeah,
end.
fuck our listeners,
right? Before you raise a fist, lower a hand.
And then you clock them in the genitalia.
You ruined my Wonder Woman quote. Thank you.
Who?
My Wonder Woman quote.
I don't know who Wonder Woman is.
No, it's a
Wonder
character I made
Woman.
up. I have all the money.
Okay. And with all that being said, I want to thank you guys for tuning in to episode 15 of the 15 of the podcast.
Nice.
We're gonna go play some D&D in about like 20 minutes, and maybe we'll
Quinceañera.
maybe we'll do like another D&D episode because I remember a little while back they wanted to do one with me, so maybe we might have an exclusive D&D episode. That's all we talk about.
Oh,
That
we
might
also
be
wanted to do a relationship.
Oh yeah,
podcast,
a
'cause
relationship
both,
one.
Both Rudy and I.
A
are
relationship?
single.
Oh shit.
So yeah, we might have some just one topic instead of jumping around. But I'm gonna try to get the podcast going weekly again. We might have Rudy on. He said, it depends like how much we're.
If I
paying
feel
him.
like coming, yeah.
If we how much of a cut he's
Yeah.
taking. But I know Jacob Knight's always down. So thank you all for listening, and thanks for listening to this banter at the end. Again, my name's Luis Gutierrez. Thank you, Noah Garcia. Thank you, Rudy. Thanks everyone for listening, and
Thank you.
hopefully we'll see you next week. Till then, take care, everybody.
Stick around. Bye, everybody.